In this video, I'll go over my top 5 most anticipated new features in Ableton 10. Find out what those are coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. Recently, Ableton 10 has been announced and a private beta was started, so we gotta look at some of the newest features in the latest version of Ableton. So here are my top 5. First up is the ability to record mini clips without actually hitting record. So if you're like me and like having your beat on loop playing in the background, you might be on your MIDI controller, on the keys or on the pads, just messing around with some ideas, and maybe you run into one of those just by accident. Happens all the time. But sometimes when you go back and try to record those happy accidents, you kind of forget or it doesn't come out the exact same. But with this new feature, Ableton Live will be consistently recording in the background without you even having to hit record. So once you find one of those happy accidents, you just go ahead and click that button at the top and it'll go ahead and show you exactly what you did over the span of a certain amount of bars. So you can record those happy accidents as soon as you do them without actually having to hit record. So to me, that means more possibilities for creativity and just more freedom, because you'll have more peace of mind knowing that always in the background, even when you're just messing around, tweaking with things or just trying to find a melody or a top line or anything like that, you'll always have that recording in the background to get you back. The second new feature I'm really excited about is subgroups. Now this is something that I've been dying for Ableton to have for the longest time. Groups were a great thing to be added to Ableton, and it really helps with organization as well as, effects routing and different things like that. But I've always wanted the ability to have groups within groups. Now this is now possible with Ableton Live 10. So for example, the way I have my drums kind of put together is I'll have my different drum channels, each, kick, snare, percussion, hi-hats, things like that, and have them all in one group. But now I can have the kick and snare in one group and still have that kick and snare group inside the master drum group. Now, why is this important? Because the way I want to process my kick and snare audio might have a similar, kind of setting, but it's different from the way I want to process my hi-hats as far as compression's concerned, or maybe some delay or reverb. You might want to have those a little bit differently. And with just having one group in the past, this was kind of difficult. There had to be different workarounds. You might have to throw things to an aux channel. It just got a little bit complicated. But these new subgroups really just make that process a lot easier, and I'm happy to have them. The third feature I'm really excited about is the ability to edit multiple MIDI clips at once. So for instance, just I was describing the way I have my drum set out with a kick in one clip, snare in one clip maybe, percussion, hi-hats. Previously, I'd have to switch between those different clips to be able to edit those, and it was really hard to see them all together. Actually, it was kind of impossible to see them all together. But now you can highlight all of those and they'll show up all at the same time, and you can edit those all independently but still in the same window. So if you're like me and you get really in-depth about how you have all your things, recorded and put into different MIDI clips, the ability to see them all at once but still have them remain separate is really invaluable. The fourth feature that I'm really excited about is the new improved browser. Now with the browser, you have the ability to label things with different colors, and just all around, it'll be a lot easier to organize your sounds, your presets, things you've made with these new labels and new colors. I can just see myself having all of my favorite drums labeled in one color, maybe all my second favorite drums in another color, or different presets. I can go ahead and label through them. That way, just visually, I can see, oh, here are my bass lines, here are my leads, here are my different sample packs, things like that, that can just make your workflow so much faster, which is so important when you're creating. Now the last feature I'm really excited about is the all-new retooled integration between Push 2 and Ableton Live 10. They've really taken Push 2 and actually pushed it to the next level as far as the visual representations you get on the push and the interactions you get in between the software and the hardware. The biggest example of this that I've seen so far is the ability to use the EQs visually on the push. So you have the actual waveform going as well as your EQ going, so you can see what you're tweaking and get that visual representation, which was on the computer screen but now actually on the push instrument itself. So that's less time looking at the computer and more time just dialing exactly what kind of sound you're looking for, as well as making the push even more of an instrument than it was before. Now, this just shows that Ableton has the ability to add more features to push going forward and more integrations in a different way to make push even more useful than it already is. So that really opens the door in my mind to see what Ableton's gonna add next in future versions going forward. I can just see this being expanded upon more and more, making the push an even more invaluable part of the Ableton Live experience. So that's it for my 5 most anticipated new features in Ableton Live 10. So question of the day, which features are you interested in? Go and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching PDot TV, where you find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time.